Welcome to Dirty Fanatics United.
Falcon fans, Falcon Nation, you are watching Dirty Fanatics United coming at you with your preseason 3 Atlanta Falcons highlight game show. As always, I'm your host, Chase, with my co-host, Philip, and we are bringing you Atlanta Falcon content today. Hit that like button, leave a comment if you haven't already, and definitely subscribe here to DFU as we are on the road to 1K. Me and Philip here, and our boy Cody, who is currently at the game at 416, trying to reach that 500 mark, man. Hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. Philip, halftime show here. Falcons down 14-0, going up against the Jags. First offense for pretty much the whole first quarter and half the second quarter. Their defense, their first-string defense, has obviously been on the field this whole entire time. Their defense has been on, not that great because you went 14 reps there. It took you 14 snaps to get into the end zone against the Falcons, 2s and 3s. So really, also
they just scored another touchdown.
Did they?
Yes.
Oh, man.
But with still potential starters. This is all I'm gonna say.
Philip, you've seen the first of the preseason game here. You've seen what's been going on. Falcons now down 21-0 here. I really hate. And you tell me your feelings about it, but I really hate the fact that they ran them 2 quarters and we had no starters on the field.
My feelings about it is whether it's team 2 versus their 1. I'm proud of this team too. It showed what they've been doing in practice against guys like Kirk and them, even though they have been beat in practice, by Kirk and them, but they've seemed to held strong at the goal line multiple times. We had the bogus roughing the passer call, which should have ended up in a field goal.
Well, Philip, you also have two flags that were not thrown. The hands to the face to Taylor Heineke on 3rd and 8, I believe it was.
I was about to say.
Hold him in eyeball. And then there was another one. There was a pass interference there when Heineke
on Casey Washington.
On Casey Washington. The guy tackled him before he came with the pass. Philip, your thoughts on the horrendous refereeing, but they seem to know how to throw it out when the Atlanta Falcons do something wrong. Philip, your thoughts?
It's the same guy that's every single year. I'm not going to say he picks us out solely, but it's just, I don't know. Something's not right. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to call a game, call it right. I've seen multiple holding calls on the line. What's his name? Ane. Throwing his hands for being held. Shout out to him, by the way, for getting a sack on, Mac Jones. Shout out to him. But it's going to call a game. Let's call it a little fair, even though you feel like you're just starters or not. Come on now. This is football. This is what we're here for. Call the game right and let's play some damn ball.
Honestly, the Falcons are not playing all their 2s. You have a lot of 3s out there on that field as well. So, Philip, I'm translating that back to your comment about our second defense looking so good against our first defense and practice. It's a lot of 3s. A lot of those guys out there are playing for a spot.
Looking
solid. I seen an interview a while ago where Raheem Morris talked about having that live practice at Flowery Branch the other day, that live practice with offense and defense. He said that was our scrimmage game. That was our preseason game here for this team, for our starters. Both first offense and first defense are, competing, Philip. Right. Fighting to have that start position. Falcons come away with a sack here. As I said, the Jaguars' first offense against our 2s and 3s did have to have a 14-play drive to score to make the score 14. The first drive, not so great as well. Philip, a guy I want to shout out to, Natron Brooks, picking up right where he left off. Natron Brooks is a solid signing here for the Atlanta Falcons. He will make the 53-man roster. Philip, your thoughts on Natron Brooks?
Some solid coverage. Could possibly be 28-0 at the moment, but he did deflect one pass that, or it could, earlier of 21, you know what I mean? But, he deflected a pass that stopped them from scoring. It was momentum. It looked good, and then which led to next was the sack, which got a little bit of momentum on it. And then, of course, they let a few penalties pass by, but, he's been solid this whole entire camp preseason. He don't have a spot. I don't know, you know what I mean? Because he's showing out. I'd be shocked if he didn't.
I'm big on Casey Washington. I like Casey Washington. I love that draft pick, Philip. I talked about it. We did the steal of the draft. We talked about it. I said Casey Washington will be your steal of the draft. And Casey Washington making some nice picks, but Philip, Chris Blair
showing out.
Coming in here every preseason game, Philip. And Falcon fans, let me know if you agree or disagree here. Every preseason game, Chris Blair has broke a pass of 20 yards.
100%.
I'm pretty sure.
The only thing he's dealing with is he's battling. If that's this such a certain receiver spot he's in is possibly out wide. As in Casey Washington would be more the inside.
I think if Blair would be battling for position, it's not going to be a 1. It's not going to be a 2 because Darnell Mooney getting praise here during the halftime show about how elusive he's been in practice. How he can take the top off of a defense. Darnell Mooney expected to do big things here in Atlanta, being a former first-round pick, I believe. I did not know that, Philip, until tonight. Darnell Mooney was a former first-round pick and is now with the Atlanta Falcons, kind of a rejuvenating season here for Darnell Mooney, hoping to see him pick back up. And, Philip, to have somebody that can catch on fire like Drake London has from the start, to have another guy like that here in Atlanta with Kirk Cousins, hoping to see Darnell Mooney do a lot here for this Falcon team as offense. But if Chris Blair were to battle for a starting position, Philip, I would think that would have to be a slot receiver. Him and Ray McLeod would have to be battling that out because I don't see him taking that 1 or 2 from Mooney or Drake London. Obviously, a depth piece that will get some rotation time, I believe, this year. You will see Chris Blair possibly on the field a couple plays. Even a Casey Washington, I think he is another lock here. He makes the 53-man roster. Philip, your thoughts, Casey Washington?
Speaking on Casey Washington, we're looking for – I'm not going to say he would be that third guy to go to, say a third receiver, but he's a good guy that you could use for situations like the slot. He showed it tonight. Great catches, showing good placement of the hands where they should be, how to catch the ball in tight creases, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? He's kind of showed out a little bit tonight, whether – it get overlooked by the 0 points on the board, but he's still showing out. You know what I mean?
He made a nice grab. He made a nice grab from a bad throw. Heineke ball kind of high. As my guy here, Mateo, here in the chat says, Heineke needs to go. Ron Thomas here in the chat said, "What's up, everyone?" Ron Thomas, appreciate you tuning in, brother. Hit that like button. Head over to YouTube if you haven't already, man. Hit that subscribe button. Falcon fans, we are talking Falcon football, bringing you your halftime show coverage, preseason game 3 here on Dirty Fanatics United. Philip, player stats here for halftime show. Taylor Heineke, 8 for 17, 81 yards. Jace McClellan, the running back that we've talked about a good bit here on the show, 2 carries, 8 yards, averaging 4.0. Casey Washington with 2 carries, 6 yards. That's Carlos Washington. 2 carries, 6 yards, averaging 3. Taylor Heineke, 3 carries, 3 yards. Drummond with 1 carry, 2 yards. Casey Washington, 2 receptions, 31 yards here for Casey Washington already in the first half, averaging 15.5. And you have Chris Blair, the guy we just spoke on, 2 catches, 18 yards, averaging 9.0. Chris Blair has averaged over 8 yards a catch this whole entire preseason, fellas. I think Chris Blair has a definite spot for this 53-man roster. Philip, a guy that I was kind of down on him not catching the ball, but then they bring the camera in a little closer, and I see it's another bad placement by Taylor Heineke. John Fitzpatrick, the big guy, making the hurdle, getting the ball down the field. John Fitzpatrick, I think, has secured a spot here this preseason. And 100%. I could be wrong, but I think he's shown what he can do in the blocking game.
Fitzpatrick is showing why he could be the next guy up after if if when Kyle Pitts goes to play wide receiver like they have planned, like they've said they have planned, it's showing why he can pull in, come in. Besides just Charlie Warner as well, he's showing why, hey, I could do the same thing. And and honestly, for a tight end as big as he is, he's got a little bit of speed. You don't normally see big guys like that hurtling over, people like that's
buddy.
DBs and
He's
stuff.
A Georgia boy, baby.
And yes, that comment is true.
Another guy that I have to give my props to, and he is a guy we met this summer here down in Savannah, Donovan Newton, Philip, with the Atlanta Falcons, the linebacker, making a big impact here with 6 tackles, 1 assist tonight. Makes a big stop down in goal line. If it's the regular season, he made the stop on 4th and 1. They go for the field goal. Your defense comes off the field. So shout out to Mutton. I think maybe that big play there potentially could land him a practice squad or maybe potentially a roster spot.
I just want to shout out the whole second, third team, whatever you are,
defense look nice.
Defensive line.
Hey, you guys, shout out the O-line. Because they have gave Taylor Heineke plenty of moments in the pocket, plenty of seconds to make the passes
against starters.
Shout out, to their starters like Walker Phillip, a guy from Georgia that we watch.
But I'm just amazed by the defensive line putting pressure. They were making what's his name? Trevor Lawrence. They were making him scramble, not really scramble, but move around in the pocket, try to find open receivers. That is impressive to me, even though, some plays were giving up 10-plus yards sometimes, but in goal line situations, they proved why it was like a bend, no break mentality until bogus penalties came into a factor. But it makes me excited to think, just wait till this first team and see what they do.
Philip,
Bradley, one is going to be special.
Speaking on that D-line, Bradley Anae, a guy that gets his first sack here in preseason, making an impact. Bradley Anae has 2 tackles here tonight, including the sack. Philip, we wanted to see sacks. Last week we called 3. They came away with 2. I was happy with it. Some fans still aren't happy with it. And you come away with 1 here in the first half of the playoff game. I'm already speaking playoffs, Philip. Preseason game. So, Philip, your thoughts of Bradley Anae? You already had a deep spot here on the D-line. It's going to be a very tough position for this team to figure out who they're going to sign, who they're going to release, who's going to the practice squad. Philip, Bradley Anae, is this a practice squad player? Or does potentially, if he continues making plays tonight, makes the roster spot?
It could be a very good depth piece. I see him as a practice squad guy. The only reason I'm saying this is just because, certain purposes like our line is just stacked. You still got guys like behind Grady and them that's not even dressed out yet. Tonight even still, there's second guys behind them and they're not dressed out. That shows that's their spot. You know what I mean? Anae has been making some very big moves, spin moves. Have been looking impressive, in which caused the sack. You know what I mean?
Playoffs? We got what?
But just certain things like he's been making big moves. It's showing promise. He could end up on the roster, but I see more of like a practice squad until unless he's called up to a bigger purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. Deep spot. You haven't seen Zach Harrison since the first preseason game. You've seen what he's bringing to this defense this year. Zach Harrison, big on Zach Harrison, man. Big guy, big-bodied DE that can get to the ball. I mean, Zach Harrison looked nice here preseason. Ready to see what this defense brings for the season to come. Obviously getting very close to week 1 against the Steelers. Philip Wallace Smith in the chat says some of these players are just trying to get the practice squad. Absolutely. Ron Thomas here in the chat said 3rd and 4th team at work at Walmart at night. LOL. Man. I mean, I can't be mad. I feel like they
especially
did
not
well
going up until
you did well. You did well up until halftime. Up until right before halftime, you did well. Because you shouldn't have gave up that touchdown there in the goal line. But
I don't even think it was a touchdown. I'm gonna be honest. Look, I was watching it. I don't even think that was even a clear touchdown. I'm 100
I didn't see it.
100%
I
right
was
now.
trying to log us into the live here, but
then again, I'm looking at it right here on my phone. I couldn't tell at the moment. We were in the middle of doing this, but
right.
to look at it, it didn't look like it was a touchdown. And they gave it
Score
to him.
now at halftime, 21-0
21-0.
here in Atlanta. Memes are going to get the rolling here as soon as the game's over if it continues at this rate. But it is preseason, so we have to take the punches and keep on rolling. I'll give you your Jaguars stats here. Trevor Lawrence, 8 for 10 for 92 yards, as he should be. I think, personally, if you've thrown 8 passes against a second and third string, you should have over 100 passing yards. So I think, again, the defense has looked very nice. Mac Jones, 8 for 10 as well with 73 yards, 1 touchdown pass. Also a previous starter in the NFL. He has the experience. Let's not sleep on Mac Jones, people. Mac Jones is a decent quarterback here that can make pocket passes. Then we'll go Etney, another baller here, starter, obviously going against 2s and 3s, mainly 3s here tonight. But you have seen Natron Brooks kind of keep Etney in his place, Philip. Could you agree to that?
100%.
He has 7 carries for 46 yards. Still not in a significant stat line there. Bigsby with 8 for 40. Trevor Lawrence 1 for 9. Mac Jones 1 for 8. Their passing yards, 1 reception for 38, 4 for 35, 4 for 28, yada, yada, yada. So Falcon fans, it is halftime here tonight. Philip, what do you want to see adjust from what you've seen in this first quarter? What could the Falcons do better? And then I'll give you my views and opinions before we get ready to close this thing out.
One thing to me, defense has been showing great highlights. You know what I mean? That's not the problem here for me. It would make it look better. I feel like they would. What would make this thing better? I want to see more of is more offensive plays. We're not going to run anything what we're going to run in the regular season, but for these guys, if you want to make a spot, you have to make more plays than just the same old people, the same 2 receivers catching the ball or tight end. You got to. Some of these other guys got to step in, make a play, and help put some points on the board to make it look better, to make the defense look better than what, because they're actually playing good to me. But, not scoring makes it look bad, you know what I mean? But that's my only thing is touchdowns. We need some at least points at least.
Absolutely. President here in the chat said, I just like the energy and the effort. The energy is there, man. Helmets are popping, pads are popping, man. The defense is bringing it. You've had some nice secondary coverages. I mean, it hasn't been great, obviously, 2s and 3s, mainly 3s here tonight. But
other than, on the offense, other than Fitzpatrick, Washington, or Blair, nobody's doing anything.
Well, Carlos Washington Jr. with that one break loose 11-yard run
besides
there.
them, but you know what I mean. It's the same guys each game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who's the guy? Brandon Dolores. I got to give him his flowers here tonight. Brandon Dolores with they called up roughing the passer. He went low to the ankles. Obviously, they're going to call that every time when you dive down through the ankles. But Brandon Dolores bringing a lot of pressure here in this preseason. Did pretty well last preseason game. Philip, Brandon Dolores. We know he's more than sure making a roster spot here on the Atlanta Falcons. But could Brandon Dolores be a guy you see in rotation here for this season to come?
100%. He's going to be like a rotational guy, just like how Rook's going to be. Rook's not playing tonight. He come out the tunnel dressed out, but he's not playing.
I'm glad you pointed
it's just, Dolores just ain't had the certain time. But I think they wanted to play him these last 2 games, like at the end of last game, second half, and then this game. They're playing, just how Rook had the first game and the first half of last game.
Right.
They're just trying, doing that. But 100%, I feel like Dolores will have a rotation.
A guy Cody's been kind of big on wanting to see more of. Kevin King playing today here in Atlanta. He goes 1 for 2,
tackles.
1 tackle, 2 assists. Kevin King, Philip, your thoughts of him? Is he a roster player or is this a practice squad player?
From what I heard, he's showing out in practice. This is just giving him his, welcome back, getting into shape still in preseason, and he's making great tackles. I was looking for a hip tackle, but he went out and dove for the guy and made a very great deep tackle. You know what I mean? Like he just, it was just a good grip and wasn't letting him go. And I was impressed by it. You know what I mean? It showed a speed and veteran. It's just
Anthony Johnson giving the touchdown up there against the tight end Ingram. He obviously is the dominant tight end here in the league, but you're a cornerback matching up with the tight end. It's not like it's Kyle Pitts out there. I don't know if Anthony or Andre Johnson. I don't know if he makes the squad. Anthony. I don't know why I said Andre. I don't know if Anthony makes the squad. You've got a deep room there already. You talk about Dennis that's on the squad as well. He's 1 tackle, 1 assist. D'Angelo Malone with a solid tackle in the first quarter, but not much after that. Philip, your thoughts of D'Angelo Malone? Seen an article today that he could be a potential trade person here very soon here for the Atlanta Falcons. Your thoughts?
I'm gonna just say from what
trade
I've seen
slash
tonight,
cut. Let me rephrase that. Trade slash cut.
From what I have seen tonight, there was a one play. This is just from tonight. I'm not impressed right now. You know what I mean? There was a play where the guy got free. He missed, didn't even touch him. Just let him lay, he got back up. Malone has got to touch him to make sure he's down. He just started walking off. I don't know. You're the veteran now. You know what I mean? You got to make sure you touch him. Better yet, make the play. I haven't seen a whole lot.
And I'm a big supporter of D'Angelo Malone.
Same here.
I want to see D'Angelo make the squad because I like him. But Philip, I can blame Arthur Smith a little when it comes to D'Angelo Malone not getting the proper progression, not getting played any. Rokoro is in the game, and the game is on. Philip, I have been running over here talking Falcon football. Falcon fans, hit that like button. We are going to go ahead and get on up out of here to watch the second half of the Atlanta Falcons halftime show is over here. Philip, give me your shout-outs for tonight, brother, and then we'll get on up out of here and watch Falcon football.
Man, shout out to the Lord, man. Blessed to be here. Blessed to have a new job, man. Getting paid a little bit good money, here and there. So I'm blessed for that. Blessed to, sit here and just watch this game. You know what I mean? We're 2 weeks away from the real deal. I can't wait for it. So shout out to the team. Shout out to the players that's fighting for a job that's going to make the team that's already there on the team. Shout out to you for being here. I want to make it to, another show tonight, but I don't think I'll be able to make it due to having to wake up early in the morning. But, it is what it is. Shout out to Blank sitting here talking to, the guys on here in the station. But, other than that, man, rise up and let's get at it 2 weeks, man. Arthur Smith, we're going to whoop your ass.
Absolutely. Shout out to all the Falcon fans that tuned in for DFU Halftime Show Report here at preseason game number 3 in Atlanta. Falcon fans, the next live, well, maybe tonight. If not tonight, we'll do a coverage Saturday of tonight, full recap. And then we'll give you a little 53-man roster breakdown, who we think stays, who we think goes here in Atlanta. It's going to be a fun, exciting season. The next time we are live in a game will be the official week 1, Philip. I can't wait for it to happen. I'm ready for it to come, to see what this offense is going to bring, to see the hype here in hot Atlanta. Philip, it has been a great show.
And shout out to, what do they call it? The Crash Out crew.
Shout out to the Crash Out crew. Hashtag Crash Out crew in the comment section. If you're checking this video out after the live, leave a comment so we can chat Falcon football with you. It's your boys Chase and Philip from Dirty Fanatics United, man. We up out of here. A-Town down. Rise up.
I swear I hope that I'm wrong, but just in case I'm on my tip forever on some